Imagine walking into a garage somewhere in America and finding a 1969 Chevelle sitting on jack stands under a single work light. The paint has been stripped down to bare metal. The engine is gone, sitting on a stand across the room in pieces. Every bolt, every bracket, every small component has been removed, labeled, and organized across a workbench with the kind of precision that most people reserve for things that actually matter to them professionally. And standing in the middle of all of it is a man who has been spending every Saturday here for the past 3 years, doing a job that nobody asked him to do, for a car that cannot move under its own power, that he has no practical use for, and that he loves more than almost anything else in his life. This is classic car restoration in America, and it is one of the most quietly extraordinary things happening in garages across this country. To understand why people give years of their lives to these machines, you have to go back to the decades when the cars themselves were built. In the 1950s, 1960s, and early 1970s, American automobile manufacturers were locked in one of the most creatively explosive competitions the industrial world has ever seen. Ford, General Motors, Chrysler, and their divisions were racing each other to build faster engines, more striking designs, and machines that captured something specific about what it meant to be alive and American in that particular moment. The results were extraordinary. Ford Mustangs, Chevrolet Camaros, Pontiac GTOs, Dodge Chargers, Plymouth Barracudas, cars that were not engineered so much as sculpted, each one carrying a specific energy that the people who bought them felt instantly and never entirely forgot. These were not luxury objects. They were everyday cars. Young Americans bought them with money saved from ordinary jobs, raced them on Friday nights at local drag strips, and drove them across the country on summer roads that seemed to have no end. For roughly 20 years, these machines were everywhere. Then, slowly, they disappeared. The oil crisis of the 1970s made large engines expensive to run. Insurance costs for high-performance cars climbed. Emissions regulations changed what manufacturers could build. The golden era of American muscle ended, not with a dramatic moment, but with a gradual fading. And the cars that had defined it were pushed into garages, stored in barns, and eventually forgotten by everyone, except the people who could not stop thinking about them. Those people never let go. They became restorers. What started as individual enthusiasts working quietly in their own garages grew into a community that now spans every state in the country. Car shows, swap meets, restoration clubs, and online forums connect tens of thousands of people who share a single purpose: to bring these machines back to exactly what they were the day they left the factory. And the standard for what that means is higher than most people would believe. A true restoration means matching the original factory paint color to the precise code documented for that exact model year. It means sourcing original specification parts rather than modern reproductions when they can still be found. It means understanding which fasteners were used at which point in the production timeline, because factories changed suppliers mid-year, and those differences matter deeply to the people who know what they are looking at. Restorers become historians whether they ever intended to become one or not. They dig through factory records, correspond with mark experts, and track down components across the country because one specific piece exists somewhere, and they are going to find it. The barn find sits at the center of this world. When a stored, unrestored example of a rare model surfaces, a car sitting untouched for 30 or 40 years, original paint still sealed under the dust, original drivetrain still in place and unmolested, word travels through the restoration community at a speed that genuinely surprises people on the outside. These discoveries are not just cars. They are raw material. a foundation to build a historically accurate restoration on rather than sorting through decades of modifications and repairs that moved a car further from what it originally was. For many restorers, the pull toward these machines goes beyond mechanical interest or investment value, because the cars they restore belong to specific moments in American life that would otherwise exist only in photographs. A muscle car from 1968 carries the decade it was built in. It carries the sound of a specific era, the smell of a specific kind of American optimism, and the feeling of a country that believed it could build something extraordinary out of steel and ambition and put it on the road for anyone to drive. Bringing one of those machines back means that feeling does not have to exist only in memory. Nobody knows exactly how many unrestored classic American cars are still sitting in garages and storage buildings and old barns across this country. The community believes the number is very significant, and every time a covered car is discovered in an estate, every time a garage is cleaned out, and something extraordinary rolls into the light, the same question surfaces again. How many more are still out there right now, sitting under a cover in the dark, waiting for someone to find them?